Today, I wanted to talk about quantum entanglement, which I'm sure is everybody's favorite subject because, I mean, like, why not? It's awesome. So Einstein originally called it spooky action at a distance, which I think is funny. Like they just didn't have the equipment and technology to just understand what it was. And so his spooky action at a distance is really just a key part of our world that you might not see on a day-to-day basis, but it's still there. And so understanding quantum entanglement, that is also, you don't think it's a key part, like nobody here has ever heard of it, but it's fascinating and it opens up so many new possibilities. So quantum entanglement has three main parts. It has the idea of instantaneous correlation, and that's what happens to one particle happens to the other. I can't snap with that hand, sorry about that. Superposition. So the particles are opposites, and so actually what happens here will actually inversely happen here. So it's not quite the same. And there's actually a lack of any faster than light signal between the two, even though it's instantaneous what's happening to them. So instantaneous correlation. So like I said, so you have this one particle, you have another particle. So if you have these particles and they become entangled, this one is actually here and here at the same time, and this one is here and here. They're entangled. They are. It's weird. They're in their own field. So if you put another, if you send an electron through this particle, that particle will also experience that energy, and it's kind of like if I have my computer open and I press the A key. And the computer also types the I. I didn't touch that I, but it's still on the screen. It still says AI, same time, but I didn't touch it. That's kind of like what it is. It's kind of hard to explain, but that's kind of the idea. And so superposition, which is the next part. It's the idea, like, so entangled particles are in direct correlation to each other. If this particle speeds up in its rotation, this particle will also speed up, and if this particle speeds up, this particle will slow down. It will maintain that balance. Sorry about that. And if this particle slows down, this particle will speed up because they have to maintain that exact same relation to each other, regardless of how far away they are, what the other one's doing. It's just inverse immediately. And so that's kind of like how, if I press the A key, the lowercase a, on the keyboard, it would make an uppercase I. And if I pressed the uppercase A, it would make a lowercase I. It's kind of that inverse relationship. So they're called sibling particles, obviously, because they're entangled. So this one is actually changing to match this one, and this one is changing to match that one. So you can never actually change one to become unentangled. Once it's entangled, it's there forever. And the third idea is that there's no classical connection between the two, which is like no observable faster than light signal, which is why quantum entanglement actually does not break classical physics, because as we all know, you cannot have a particle go faster than light. What actually happens is they're not transmitting information, like they're not sending energy to each other, they're not sending anything that we can see, but they are actually acting in relation to each other. And it's kind of like if I got slapped in the face right now, I'm sure everybody here who's really empathetic would feel that too, even though you guys didn't get touched. It's kind of like that. And so there are actually some real world applications for this, even though this is a really like far off, very specific field of study. There are some real world applications for this that are pretty awesome. So I'm sure you all know, so with your basic computing of anything, so our computers use bits, the zeros and ones. The zero is off, one is on. But a qubit, a quantum bit, what it actually does is it can be a 0 and a 1 at the same time. So your classical computing, it can be any one of 2 to the n states because of its being 0 or 1. A qubit can be all of 2 to the n states at once, which makes it infinitely more powerful for processing and just infinitely faster. So you can have a quantum computer that uses those qubits to process its information, and it can compute every single possible outcome that fast. And so quantum cryptography is another way that you can use qubits and this idea of quantum entanglement. Basically what happens is you have one qubit and you have another qubit. These are just entangled particles. That's how you have to think of it. You actually destroy this qubit, which you can do. This one will still be entangled, but the other particle is destroyed. And so what that does is it actually encodes information on this qubit that no other particle has. So you can use that unique information on that qubit, and you can also record the information while it's being destroyed, so both sides have it, to create a unbreakable encryption, because only that qubit that was destroyed and that qubit that's still there, those are the only two particles in existence that have that code. And so it's impossible to break because it's completely random. And so quantum teleportation, I know, teleportation. But it's not as cool as it sounds, but it's still pretty cool. It's kind of the same thing. It's part of quantum cryptography. It's the destroying and transmitting information. And so you're actually sending information, which, like, if you know anything about physics, you need a light signal, you need energy, you need something to send information. It sends information without any of that. Here, it's that simple. And then what you can do is you can use your classical bits, your zeros and ones, to take that information from the qubits and turn it into usable information to make that actual code. So yeah. And so the quantum internet is a theoretical way that we would, it's a theoretical progression of the internet using quantum computers that would basically just revolutionize everything, because you have unbreakable encryptions, your data is completely secure, you have like your processing speeds like that, you got everything, and it can search through every single possibility. So yeah, I mean those are the real world applications. I really like quantum entanglement, I like quantum physics, I hope you guys do too. So yeah, thank you.